What we are trying on the Texas Restaurant Association is to continue to grow that and offer support. I'll tell you this, and not many folks know this, but restaurants is highly regulated. There's a lot of rules, a lot of pieces behind it. One thing that as my role on the Restaurant Association has allowed me to help do is help a lot of restaurateurs or about to become restaurateurs to really understand, just so they're in compliance, for the knowledge and to share best practices. Then when you can bring that camaraderie and, we loan other restaurants Cokes or, a case of Dr. Peppers. It could be a to-go box, right? That, a couple years after COVID, you couldn't buy a to-go box. So you had to find different ways to source it. It is a special kind of camaraderie and something that I'm a big fan and I love. We love helping kids. We love helping teachers. We love helping nonprofits. And whether it's through donation or just maybe cover the cost of food or however, or we give back. And most restaurateurs are like that. They really, truly care about the community doing, well and everybody being healthy.
Welcome to another episode of East Texas Unfiltered. I'm your host, J. Chad Parker. Today we're going to talk restaurants, specifically Tyler, but expanding from Tyler. The restaurant is a tough business. You're going to hear about that, but I have a guest who somehow has found a way, a formula, if you will, to be successful. And he's going to tell us about that. Scott, thank you for being here today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
You've developed quite a resume, and Chris, let's bring up the clip that the Texas Restaurant Association, I guess you're probably prominent in that organization, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'm currently the chair.
All right. Well, this gives us a little information here about you. For people who don't know you, you own several restaurants here in Tyler, and those are expanding, correct?
Yes, sir.
What I found, interesting about your story is the San Pedro store that you purchased it or you started it?
No, I purchased it.
All right. And that was in 2012.
Yes.
All right. So and you were how old at that time?
Ooh, I would have been 2012. So I'd have been late, or right at 30.
Okay. So let's kind of get an idea. Where were you, born and raised, Scott?
So I was born in Dover, Delaware. Don't hold it against me. I am a Texan now.
Okay.
But my dad was in the Air Force, so
you moved around?
Yeah, I was there for like 3 months, at Air Force Base, and then I was in London, and then lived all up and down the East Coast. My older brothers lived in Germany and Japan and a lot of cool places. As my dad, he used to, back in the day, they'd have these big servers and computers. And he would connect them, and we call it bringing online. Of course, it was just them talking to each other, not on the internet back then. And he always joked that his phone had more power now than the millions of dollars they spent on all these bases back in the day. And so we got to travel around. My mom passed away when I was young, and so when I was 6, we moved to Florida, and then moved to Dallas, and where my dad, because he got out of the military, of course, having to take care of 3 boys. And so we moved into South Dallas, a place called Lancaster. And my dad worked as a postman, and on the weekends he worked as a bartender, and on weeknights he worked at a gas station to provide for us. So,
well, it sounds like the way you moved around. I don't know if y'all went out to eat or you noticed the food from different countries and places, but I'm curious whether that had any influence on what you would ultimately do.
It's kind of interesting. It definitely plays a role in the way that I run my restaurants. But when I was younger, we didn't go out to eat much. We'd go out to eat. We'd always celebrate graduation, 3rd grade, 4th grade, put on the clip-on tie. It gets shorter and shorter every year. But no, we didn't go out to a whole bunch of restaurants, but we did go out to a couple that did make impact, like Houston's and a few other restaurants that we really enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I'm probably older than you, but we didn't go out. I mean, that wasn't, the culture to go out. It was to stay home. There was a family table, that type of thing. And that's transitioned over the years to where, especially if you're older with no kids, like Tyler, a designated retirement community, a lot of people go out to eat, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, and when we were younger, of course, we didn't have the means to go out to eat.
Right. I mean, it does cost money and it adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I think nowadays, though, what's great about it, I think the restaurant community is really trying and really working hard to provide that family table, though, and where you go in, you feel welcome, you feel like it's not just I don't have to do the dishes tonight. It's like, oh, we get to spend time together in whatever restaurant it may be, really enjoy ourselves, really be around the table. And hopefully it's not just a gathering, but, or just a celebration. It could be just a normal nightly gathering.
Ultimately, where did you ultimately graduate from high school? Let's kind of pinpoint you there.
Yeah, Lancaster,
All
so
right.
South Dallas.
After that, did you go to college? Did you go to some type of trade school? What did you do next?
So I started with corporate America. Originally I wanted to be a pilot. My dad was in the Air Force, wasn't a pilot, but I was like, I want to be a pilot. And
Was
things
this after the
changed.
movie Top Gun?
You know what? I could have done just like him. No, definitely might have been a little help there. But so that didn't work out so much. But as I was going through high school, I was working as a busboy in a restaurant and kind of grew up through that and became a manager or server for them. I remember I was 17. And so they had me serving tables. They were short staffed. They're like, hey, you do a great job. Just go ahead and serve tables. I wasn't old enough to bring any alcohol out. And somebody ordered a 7 and 7. And I brought them a Sprite. I was like, oh, they made 7 Up. Sorry, we don't have 7 Up. Here you go. And it's made, it's with Sprite. And they're like, oh, it tastes like no alcohol. It's like, alcohol. So quickly I take the drink back and I'm like, there's something 7 something. And they're like, oh, yeah. No, this is, we'll get you taken care of and run it out for us. So I kind of grew up and I really loved it though. I kept growing and learning more about the restaurant business. And so I started at college at, my first one was Tarrant County Community College. Then I went to about 5 different community colleges, including TJC. And I enjoyed it. I thought, college is great, but I really focused on work and wherever work was taking me. El Paso Community College, and just different ones.
Well, I mean, what was taking you around to all these junior colleges? Because that sounds like an awful lot of junior colleges for one person to go to.
Yeah, probably. There's times where I couldn't finish a semester or something. I was with corporate American, so we were opening restaurants. It was a family owned, at the time, it was family owned, and it was great. We had 7 restaurants, real small company.
Would people know the name of that restaurant?
Yeah, I think so. Cheddar's.
Oh, yeah.
It's sold many times since then, but back when I was younger, it was Greg Good, Aubrey Good, Doug Rogers. Aubrey and Doug had founded it, and man, they were just awesome, great owners, and they were restaurant geniuses. And so
that's kind of where you learned the ownership part of a restaurant, because you were opening the restaurants at different places, but you also had contact with the owners.
Well, yeah, they've always been a great resource for me. But when I got my first restaurant, San Pedro's, that's where I really learned. I mean, the government hit me one time because I was paying quarterly taxes. I paid every penny I owed them. And they came to me and says, you owe us all this money, $20,000, because you did not switch over to paying every 2 weeks. And because of that, I was like, hold on. So you're saying, you of course, you don't give me any notice. You just tell me about this as an arrears. But because I didn't pay you, that I now owe you $20,000, even though I've paid you every penny I owed you. And they're like, yes. I'm like, you know what? This isn't right. I'm going to fight this. I go get a lawyer, does a great job, gets it reduced by half. So I pay $10,000 and I pay him $10,000. But I at least feel like I vindicated myself against the government a little bit. But I had to learn a lot. It was a lot.
You need to have an accountant probably that keeps you up on because the government will change the rules and not put it out there and say, well, you're expected to know if you're a business owner, right?
Yeah, I went from QuickBooks to an accountant very quickly after that.
All right, well, let's circle back to Cheddar's. Did you open the Cheddar's in Tyler?
I did not. Actually, I did. I helped participate for a few months. I was just here for a few months in that one, right before I went to Kentucky. Yeah.
All right. So was that the same time that you went to TJC for a period of time?
Yes, sir.
Was that your only and first experience with Tyler, Texas?
It was. When I came out here, I was like, I'm in the wrong place. I just left Austin, just left El Paso. And I said, man, I don't think I'm in the right area. He said, what are you seeing? I said, oh, I do see a mall over here. Maybe there's a big city somewhere. I was like, no, you're going to go the opposite way of downtown. So I turned down and then we were here. And so I started, I was here and lived, got a temporary residence at the time, got into college before I went off. I moved off again and I came back. But I ended up falling in love with it. It was close enough to Dallas. Then, of course, as I had children and a family, it's been amazing.
Did you have children and a family at that time?
No.
Did you meet your wife here?
I did. Yeah.
What about, because Chandler, and San Pedro doesn't. I mean, it was probably a good move, but you wouldn't think like that's what I would do if I set out to have my own restaurant.
Yes. So the way it kind of happened is we were growing. So after we got bought out about the third time from private equity group. So
And you were talking about Cheddar's.
yeah. And so
Did you have any type of stake or ownership where you made money when they were sold?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. So did you, are we going to assume you did well and you had money to invest to start your own venture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and so that was again the family. That was from the family. The family, kept a percentage for the employees that were there with them for the whole time, and so the good family did that, and it was great. But funny enough, San Pedro's came back. So I'm going to church, Rose Heights. It's been my church ever since I came here, and I met Larry Parker, and he was a builder, but he had a restaurant. He's like, man, this thing's not making any money right now, and in Chandler, and I'm going to sell it off. And so I said, all right, let me look into it. And at the time, I had a couple kids in and I was traveling probably 25 days out of the month. And so
you wanted to be home.
Exactly. I was like, okay, let me figure this out. Let me move a little bit quicker than I want to on finding my restaurant location and settling in. And so San Pedro's came about and, I looked at it and I'm like, hold on. This road's got a lot of people coming in and out. And I went in there and I can make something out of this. So I took that thing from, I was doing $500,000 a year. And we blew it up. We were doing more guests a week than lived in the city of Chandler. And we were driving them in from Tyler. And so I took all that and it was a lot of hard work to get there and a lot of learnings. I had to learn about that IRS fiasco. I had to learn about some of the things I called, again, my friends who were owners of who sold off a big company like Cheddar's and they were always really helpful and just great. And so, I ended up selling that to help with, FDs.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like from what I've looked into, when you bought it, there may have been 800 people coming a week, and it was as high as 2,400 maybe a week by the time you sold it.
Yes, sir. So.
Now, as far as a successful restaurant, some people think that Mexican food is a good way to go because of the cost of the food, and and it kind of connects well with margaritas and alcohol, which have higher profit margins as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that the formula on San Pedro's was like, hey, you can have some protein, but you have some beans, some rice, some chips, some hot sauce,
So San Pedro's a little different because we had no alcohol and at first. And so I had to get them a license and which all helped kind of grow it, right? Because you want a margarita with some great fajitas or enchiladas. And so, but it was also, San Pedro's is special. It was a little different. We had folks who literally come in 5 days a week. And I don't mean one or two guests. I mean 20, 25 that I saw everything about their whole family. And my kids would help there and we'd have the cops called on because they're like underage, hiring over here. But no, it's just my kids delivered chips and salsa at 9 and 10. And then all the cops knew us and it was great. So.
Well, Chandler didn't have a lot at that time.
Right.
And San Pedro's was pleasing optically to the senses. You looked at it, it looked like a good place, right?
Yeah.
And do you put any, emphasis in the restaurants that you developed since in the physical architecture and the way it looks from the curb?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a big, big, big part on it. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to have a great experience from starting at the curb, getting out of the car, clean parking lot, all the way into when you sit down into a comfortable chair, the right lighting, the right people, smiling and greeting you. And so it all absolutely plays a role. And I do a little bit more of an investment into facilities because, again, I'm trying to build that experience. And whether you're out there celebrating a birthday or 60 years, or we had a 100-year-old birthday party at Three Palms the other day, and we wanted to feel, every restaurant's got a different feel for a reason, but we want that to be feeling special and different.
Do you feel like you had maxed out San Pedro when you decided to sell that?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that it could be I think long term, there was opportunity to continue to grow it there, but it wasn't. So again, so you had folks that were coming in there before I bought it who loved so much that chicken fried steak that was on the menu. And so if you put, you can only do so much to change the menu, uh, especially with that kind of regulars there. But
Right. I mean, it kind of alienates them. They're like, oh, I don't like what they've done here,
yeah, that's absolutely right. And so I had to be very thoughtful with it. And that's kind of why, again, at the height of it, we sold it, and then, use that to really focus in on FDs.
Okay. Did you have FDs in mind? Did you have a lease at the Cumberland Mall? Did you have these things in place before you sold San Pedro?
I did. I poured everything into FDs. So when we looked at a couple different locations, and a good buddy of mine, Greg Good, who's a restaurant genius. So he came down there. We kept looking at locations. Old Jacksonville was a location we looked at. And back then, the villages of Cumberland weren't all full. It wasn't.
No.
It was.
I mean, we've got your your restaurant up here, and this will start a process where you build something, you do so well that you have to enclose the patio and air condition it, right?
Yeah.
That's what you did at FD's ultimately.
Yeah, that's what we had to do. We had to expand, and there was nowhere else to go.
Right.
And, you're locked. And so we had one spot to go, so that worked out.
I mean, we'll talk about it later, but you would eventually do the same thing at 12, right?
That's right, yeah.
But FD's, you say you put everything you had in it. I thought FD's was a very visual experience once you walk through those doors, right?
Yes.
For what you expected to be in there.
Absolutely. So, and when we first opened, Angie's worked with me forever, and she's just great. But there'd be times where somebody would walk in and they would turn around to walk out. They were like, "Oh, this place is really nice." I'm in here in shorts and a t-shirt. You're like, "Oh, no, it's okay. Let me show you the menu. You come on in. We're going to take great care of you." But when I opened FD's, I mean, I hadn't paid my home mortgage in a few months. They were calling my number. I had great investors. We didn't have a loan on it.
I thought Cheddar's, set you clear.
It wasn't that. No, it wasn't that much. And we were over budget, and like normal on a construction.
On the inside for sure, right?
Yeah. Yep. And so when we opened it, I mean, literally the speaker systems, I ran out of money. And so those speaker systems were put out by me and my managers at the time, because luckily we bought the speakers beforehand, but unfortunately we couldn't afford to pay them to put them up. So,
well, I remember seeing you at times, when it first opened, and that you actually were maybe working in the kitchen. I mean, I thought I saw you actually working around in there. Were you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
I love being in the kitchen, and I love talking to the guests too. I mean, I got the best job in the world. I get to eat all day, look at food, make food, and then talk to people. So I spent a lot of time in the kitchen. And, I was there 365 days out of the year, the first year for sure. Even though we were closed Thanksgiving, closed Christmas, my kids came up to help me clean and make sure it's perfect. We set up. We had a table there that actually overlooked the kitchen. And my wife, Maddie, she'd bring all the kiddos, and she'd have had 4 kids at the time, and she would put them all in there. They would do the homework or stuff. I'd go and hang out with them for a little while. And then when we get busy, I'd jump right back and get to work. So,
well, I mean, this investment, was for your family, right? I mean,
absolutely.
And people who think that, and start to hear you talk, that you don't just open these restaurants and they just take off and work by themselves and make money, and it's just that simple. It's not like that at all, is it?
No, sir.
I mean,
it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication and a lot of folks that come together to make it successful.
Well, FDs, what does FDs stand for?
So, when we did the name, and so FD's is kind of a special, unique one. Of all my restaurants, it's kind of like a co-op. We have other restaurants that I'm friends with and good relationships with. But in the restaurant industry, you need purchasing power. Well, I guess in a lot of industries, you need purchasing power.
You need volume purchasing power.
Exactly. And so that's how you can get those prices and those contracts, which I was used to in the big corporate America. But it was much harder. When I went to San Pedro's, there was no volume. And that wasn't a very good model to grow. And so I partnered with some great folks, again, Greg Good, but also other folks, Lisa Marsh, Gene Marsh, some great folks. And so what we did is we partnered up and purchased, just for purchasing in volume, and it helped us to.
Is that what you called the entity to purchase the food?
Well, now the name. So the name, there's a list of names. I'll tell you this. I'm not going to be, and I don't think I'm the best person at picking names, but they all do have meanings. If you look at 12, right? 12 is the day I got married. It's on the 12th. And if you look at that menu, it's all things for my wife, who I was telling you, she was there every day, visiting me with the kids after school for the opening, and I owed a lot to her. And so, and her that menu's got like, I took her for her birthday. We went to Las Vegas, and we went to a restaurant called the Brass Tap. And that's where the Crazy Shake with the slice of cake and the milkshake and the fun thing. That's where we got there. And that Thai steak and noodle salad was from Chicago, where we went to a restaurant. And I can just go on, but it was all her favorite dishes on that menu. And that's why some people are like, wow, this menu is a little bit of everything. And I said, maybe but it's a lot of love and a lot of things that my wife loved that we just put right here for Tyler to enjoy as well.
Well, people have enjoyed that. Your sign, that sign's very catchy. I mean, there's no telling, people don't realize how expensive signs are until you build a commercial building, right? I mean, you can't believe they cost what they cost.
Absolutely.
And, I think that was, catchy. I think the sign itself always made me want to go in there just because of the sign. It looked like a good place to be going, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had that intention or how you chose that sign or how it was designed, but
and we had pushback from the city on that sign. So we actually had to build on to the parapet. They would not allow the sign to go above, which is the top of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to make a architectural change just to have that sign there.
Right. I mean, I've experienced that myself, where they won't let me have a sign on two sides of a building that sits on a corner with a monument sign in the ground. It's like, I don't know what the rhyme or reason is behind some of it, right? But and I know Nick Pence's had to get a variance, and thankfully the city gave him a variance he's going to open up Smash Bar next to Stanley's, and he wants to have a neon sign like the Stanley sign. And so, the city does regulate what gets put up.
They do. I would say at least the benefit, what I've noticed,
the city of Tyler will work with you though.
They will.
If they can.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
They're a great choice.
I'm not critical of them because unlike some places that are bureaucratic nightmares, at least the city of Tyler seems to be pro-business as much as they can be, and you can say that's true or not.
No, I absolutely agree with you.
FDs, my general, thought on FDs was I was surprised how affordable it was for what you could get. The plank salmon, the firecracker shrimp. I remember I'm calling these things out of memory years ago, right? But I mean, they were not things that you saw everywhere, especially some of the appetizers.
Yeah. When we price things out, we have a couple of benefits. One, the purchasing power. And I've had relationships with a lot of these buyers, a lot of these producers for a long time. And so that was always a benefit. But at the end of the day, it kind of goes back to my childhood. I never wanted it to be where, it was this overly priced, couldn't afford to go and take the family in there. Even at Three Palms, you're on Social Security, you want to come celebrate your 60th birthday, 80th birthday, whatever it may be. We're going to celebrate you, whether you get that $18 dish or that, $50 dish,
right.
Because it's the whole point of us. We want people to gather, have a great time. We want to celebrate with you. We want to celebrate you. And so that was at FD's, that menu was very thoughtful. And we've had to take off some great things sometimes because, the pricing market, you go to the grocery store and something might cost you Icelandic cod, might cost you $4 a pound. And then all of a sudden, 4 months later, it's $24 a pound. And,
yikes.
And that's just the way it is. And so we've always tried to do a good job of just making sure our menu, does two things. One, we provide an amazing quality product. That's number one and the most important thing we do. And then two, it's just that we want to make sure that we're never overcharging. We just want people to have a great time.
Well, when we get to FDs and kind of towards, before you go to opening another restaurant, we know you've purchased San Pedro and developed it. That's your experience. Now you've opened a new restaurant, FDs, for the first time, right?
Yeah.
On top of the ones you've helped open in your past at Cheddar's.
Yep.
Was it hard to open? getting a liquor license in Smith County has gotten a lot easier
Yes, sir.
than it was 20 years ago, right?
Yep. I think the one benefit I had, again, I got to work with a really great folks beforehand in the corporate world. So I felt good about that. Like, the opening, how we were going to open, how we were going to train, how do we get the permitting. So I'll tell you the scarier part, we opened up and there was nobody there. And so,
Really?
yeah,
Because you didn't do any advertising?
correct. We don't advertise at all. And so it
'Cause
took
you-
a couple days.
You take the soft opening. It also doesn't overwhelm your your unexperienced server staff,
Absolutely.
right? And then people go, man, the service here is terrible. I'm not coming back, right? I mean, you got to watch out with first impressions, don't you?
Yes, 100%. We take that very serious in every opening because you got to put your best foot forward. And honestly, rightfully so, right? You're coming in to spend your hard-earned money, and we don't want you to have a subpar experience. And so we do everything we can, not just at the opening, but at all times to make sure that guest feels 100%, whether it's their first time or their 100th time.
Well, because, people do have choices, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I've always said this, and maybe I'm too hard, on restaurants. I've always said, if I go out, I feel like I'm not going to waste one of my nights. Okay. And what I mean by that is if I go to a place and I'm going to make sure that I like it, the service is good, the food's good, right? Because I feel like, when you go out to dinner, it's not like I'm not going to just accept whatever they give me that night. And if they do that very often, I won't be there, right? So I'm probably one of the more impatient, critical clients that could come through. But there are people like me, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, there's not that. That's exactly right. I mean, what you're saying is 100% right.
Consistency is king, right?
Yeah, in a people's business, right? So you're dealing in a people's business, but it absolutely is. And I think, and even one piece that we have, I know if we just take statistics, we're taking care of 18,000 guests a week. 1%, let's just say I'm 99% great.
Yeah, I know.
1% is a significant number when we're doing the volume we're doing. And myself or Angie or all of our leadership team, we're going to go above and beyond. Okay, we made the mistake. We're going to make a mistake. We're not going to be 100% perfect. We're shooting for it. We're shooting for perfection. We're selling for excellence. But we got to go, we're going to care more about that issue than you're going to care about. And I remember one time, man, we made a mistake on this gentleman's food twice. Twice on a burger, and he had to go. He wanted no tomato, and he's like, "Man, I got to go, Scott." So because I already talked to him, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So the server just took the wrong one. It was a mistake. So I go, steal a bunch of food, ribs, all the stuff that's coming right out of the smoker. It's perfect. I meet at the front door. I already gave him a gift card, and I'm like, "Here you go. You cannot go hungry today. It is not okay. I'm so sorry. There's ribs in there. I got some fish. I got some chicken tenders in there. Everything you need. It's more food, but I just share with whoever you like to. I'm so sorry." And I think as long as we continue to do that, because we know we're going to make the mistakes, I hope that the guests see when we do fall a little short that we do care. We're going to make it right and hopefully solve the issue.
That leads to an issue that as the character of people decreases in society, I have seen and heard from people that I know that some people will purposely complain or be overly difficult in order to get a free meal, get a free this. Do you have that experience very often in any of your restaurants?
I don't think so. I mean, we're always going to give the grace.
Don't tell me you hadn't seen it.
No, I mean, but we're always going to err on the side of the guest. So again, we're doing so many guests.
No, I know. It doesn't matter, right? You can let some squeaky wheel. You can put the grease to a squeaky wheel, right?
Right. I mean, we're just gonna. I always tell them this. All my leaders and all my restaurant managers, what can we learn from the situation? Because we're learning every day. And one, what can we learn? And the two, let's go above and beyond. We're going to offer grace to every situation. We're going to do as much as we can to make it right.
And okay, so we can see FDs. It's packed. Sometimes people are standing outside to get in. When does the concept of Javi's come into Scott Williams' mind?
Yeah, it was, wow. I have a friend in Dallas. He has some restaurants, Miko.
Mikosina?
He started Mikosina, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I like that place.
yeah, he started Macero, and he's got a couple of different, things that he had started. He's just real sharp gentleman. And, Tyler needed something
Like
like that.
I mean, people wanted a Mi Cocina, for
Yeah.
a lot of.
Yeah, and a lot of the restaurants won't come to a smaller town because it's hard, right? I mean,
Right.
they need frequency, and they need, they have, numbers that they've got to look at and demographics. And so, but what I really thought about is like, wow, we can make something really neat and special here, because I found the building before the concept. Jay reached out, or I saw the building.
Jules.
Yep.
Right. He moved what was Julian's in the Times Square Theater to what he built, which was that massive building on Old Jacksonville, that white one.
Yeah.
Where Javi's is now.
Yeah. It used to be metal and cool, neat, and it was fusion and kind of type food. And,
right.
And so, but going back to what we talked about, pre-cameras, running a restaurant's hard.
And he's a yard man, not a restaurateur.
And he's got an amazing story. I talked to him before I ever worked the deal with Javi's, and coming from nothing and building, and working hard and making it happen.
He had a big landscaping / yard service business, right?
Yeah, yep, and he still does. Yeah,
very nice guy. I've met him.
Yep.
I just hadn't seen him in a while, but I remember he bought that, and I thought that was so strange. And I think it was probably for his kids or something.
I come across, especially on the Restaurant Association, but even before that, anytime, and anybody hearing that, if you ever need help with a restaurant or an idea, I love helping out. I'm a big fan. I'm a big proponent of restaurateurs. Anything I can help. I remember one of the first P&Ls, somebody shot to me like, a prospectus, and he's like, I'm opening a food truck. Here it goes, and it showed like 80% profit. And I said, man, let me tell you, it's not obtainable.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be real with you. And so I walked him through and what's realistic. We flipped it. Okay, now 20% profit maybe. And a food truck could be done versus brick and mortar. But so I'm always willing to kind of help in there. And so, but yeah, so he saw he got the calls late at night and all those things. And he decided to, go away from that concept there. And I said, you know what? It's a great location. It's right on the water right there. I went to a bunch of restaurants in California and Mexico, and I just really studied because I wanted something that you felt great with. I wanted the highest quality meat, carne asada in there. That's what we're known for. And we cook it medium rare, and it's in with our fajitas and something a little different. It's not this mega sized menu. There's no it wasn't traditional what was in Tyler. It wasn't that same where you had 27 of the same things, just slightly different.
Right.
But
Mercados, more of the Tex-Mex, right? Is what.
Yeah, I mean, we have Tex-Mex, but yeah,
you do. But you have other things that
absolutely
are not on those traditional type menus.
Yeah, that was always our goal, is to be a little bit different, and we go into it. We're excited. We're about to open. We do open. Bars rocking. We're rocking. You need about a year to, when you do a new concept, there's so many little things and there's so many unintended consequences, just like in the government, that you don't think about. And so maybe something doesn't travel well for takeout, or maybe something doesn't work well for the servers or carrying it. And so we needed that. You need that first year. But unfortunately, 3 months into it in March, COVID hits and we're shut down.
So this is March of 2020.
Yep.
Okay.
So we opened 2 days before the end of 19. And go right into 2020. And we're getting our sea legs, so to speak. We're really learning. We're adjusting, making it's a million slight adjustments to the business. And then we had to close it down for 8 days, actually.
Well, we're lucky that we live in a place that it was only 8 days.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
very much so.
And that had to do with the county judge at the time, Nathaniel Moran.
Yes.
And, the politicians who really didn't cave to the initial, fear wave that came our way.
Absolutely.
And it probably saved a lot of businesses in Tyler that we didn't do that, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, they had great insight, great knowledge, and they stuck to their guns. They helped us out. And then
The
our
change,
community helped us out, right? So we transitioned over. So we weren't allowed to have anybody in the building, but
you were takeout king.
all of a sudden we were selling margaritas, and there was this weird new law, and we didn't really even know how it went with you could do alcohol. And so we were giving a whole bottle of tequila and a big a mix. And I mean, then the TABC came out and said, I don't think that's it. Then he came back out again. He's like, no, that's definitely not it. You can't give the bottle and do this. And there's a lot of confusion, but the community stepped up, and we loved it. We appreciated them, because when we first closed down, again, we didn't know what to expect, right? Are we going to all be zombies? What's
How
gonna
long is this
happen?
going to last?
Yeah, and so we helped all of our team members get on unemployment. We gave food packages to everybody. And later on, we gave toilet paper packages to folks. And so we did everything we could to help our team. And again, then luckily we did find back, we got back open, and it was just outside of the building. You couldn't do it inside the building.
Yeah, the change for to-go alcohol, that might have saved a lot of restaurants, because as we've talked about earlier, the profit margins are larger. And during that time when everybody,
Yeah.
that's all you could do. And then even after now, where people like your product, the limousine, taxi, I can't ever keep track of which one is where. But that's a constant theme at all of your restaurants is the frozen margorita.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because people really do like those, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we put out a good one. We're known for a great margarita. We don't skimp on it. And but yeah, that really helped. I think there was I'd have to go back and look, but I know they did some statistics on it, and it made a significant help to our restaurant industry.
All right, so Javi's gets back open, and it builds back kind of some momentum towards the end of 2020, I assume.
Yes, sir.
You're kind of getting going. Now, this whole remote worker type thing seemed to make it harder for some employers to gather people back up to the places of business to find, full employment. Was that something that you dealt with?
Yeah. Luckily, most of our folks came back because we took good care of them. But yeah, there were some folks who didn't come back, and it was challenging definitely to get newer folks hired. I think people were still scared. They didn't understand what was happening. There was a lot of things in the news and the outlets. And so it took a little while to really get fully.
Yeah, because you think about that. Some people live more scared than others, and some people have no fear, just depending on a personality. So I'm sure you had, and then you had older people who were concerned that they might get sick from somebody else. So you had all of this working together, kind of, slowing down people coming back and slowing down workers coming back to the restaurant, right?
Yeah, the benefit we had at Hobbies was that big patio. And so,
oh yeah, you did. Everybody could sit out there. They could be spaced out.
Yes.
And we try to show we don't have the patio there, but we do have the restaurant. Now, all I think about when I see that place is I wonder how much the rent is.
Yeah, it's
got to be a big rent payment.
Well, I'll tell you this. One thing, there's a statistic that we follow on rent, but it's not my highest rent location.
Really?
Yeah.
That's, you think the size of that thing, where it's located.
It's definitely my biggest location.
Yeah, right. That is large.
Right.
Because there's upstairs. And
Yeah.
there used to be something next door, but now do you have the entire building?
Yeah. Well, there's some offices in the very back. We don't have all of those, but there's a side space, which we're looking at doing a remodel in there and doing some cool, neat booth package. But, and in the future, but it's a big building. But, what Hobbies is great at and why this big building makes sense. And even as we talk later about, future Hobbies that we're building, we go bigger because we have so many celebrations, which we love. And
Right,
we don't
because-
cap your time. You're coming in there, have a great time, enjoy. And so,
Instead of, hey, folks, move along. We've got others trying to sit down.
right. And so a big restaurant helps you to be able
Yeah.
to take care of all those folks and not to feel the pressure of 4,000 people at the front door waiting to sit down.
Did opening Hobbies with this larger restaurant, did it put any pressure on you? Because, were you having to steal people from FDs in leadership positions to try to start off and open hobbies, in a way that kept you from, making a poor impression early?
Well, one of the biggest things that helps me is we have so many folks that have been with me since day one at FDs, that even came over with me from San Pedro's, but really from FDs that are our future leaders. And so with hobbies, it was a great ability, and it was a great thing for me to give them a shot, for them to become managers and restaurant directors and general managers. And in fact, a busboy for me at FD's was the opening general manager there. Then he became a district manager for me. And so everybody, through the growth, everybody is winning. And so that's
Well,
one
that's good. I
benefit.
mean, because you have several restaurants and are expanding. I mean, there's an opportunity, to climb up the ladder, so to speak, at
Yes,
your company or with your restaurants.
absolutely.
Do you get to a point with hobbies where you peak out, or are you still climbing when you start thinking about what would be the next restaurant 12? I mean, how, are you timing these things where they kind of peak out a little bit and you think they're falling or they're plateauing, and then you go, okay, I'm going to go get another one? Or how did that come into your mind to go get 12?
Yeah. So one thing we do a little differently is it is pretty common in the restaurant industry to have what they call a honeymoon phase. And you'll see a lot of it on the stock market. They don't take in a certain amount of months, and that honeymoon phase usually higher sales. One thing that's kind of different for us is our sales just keep going up. More guests come. We get more efficient. We're a little faster. We take great care of them. They're coming back.
More people are moving to Tyler.
More people are moving to Tyler. So it's a lot of great things that are helping that. And so, if you take out COVID years, every one of our restaurants have grown. And so that allows us after, it does take a little while though to make sure that, again, all the nuts and bolts, the menu's perfect, the bartender, the training program, and doing a new concept. There's a lot of things that have to come out of my head, go on paper, become operating procedures. And the reason why I kept growing in Tyler, so to speak, first was that my family was here. Right at this point, I now have 5 children, and want to be home for them. Want to go to the soccer games. Want my
Right.
team to go to their kids' soccer games, and everybody. And so we definitely kept it local before we ever thought about going outside of the market. And also to make sure we built all the training systems, the checks and balances, the director training, all those pieces that we could do it successfully outside of the city as well. But when Mr. Eltife, we talked about that location, of course, I love the location. I loved Javi's location, loved FD's, and I thought 12 was another great location. And I love Tyler, and I was like, you know what? Let's put a restaurant here dedicated to my wife. I didn't know the name at the time, and again, going to my wife, she was there all the time. I wanted to really honor her, and so 12. So I'll go back to it. FD's was designed by my architect out of Dallas, who's very talented, David Williams. And then Javi's was out of Baton Rouge. 12, my wife designed, and really poured her heart into that and really kind of took ownership of that one. And then, of course, Three Palms was Angie Reed. And so I wanted them all to feel different. I wanted you to feel when you went into one of our restaurants that this place is a little different. It's different than everything else in Tyler. It's different than 12 is different than FD's and Javi's and Villagio, and all of them are just separate and different.
Well, it sounds like what you're saying, and you didn't actually say it, that the location came available. It was so good that you used your experience to create a concept to go in it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what happened, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
that's
I
it.
mean, you're on the corner of Old Bullard and the Loop
Yeah.
near Broadway.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
like it's hard to pick. Now, this is probably your highest rent spot.
well, actually, it's not.
Okay.
I'm lucky. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that, but I keep thinking, okay, well, maybe it's Villagio. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep guessing because there's only so many more to guess.
Oh, it's FD's. Well, I'll give it to you. It's FD's.
Well,
Grill House is the
that
highest
makes
rent.
sense because of the size and really probably the ownership of that mall.
Absolutely.
They're probably a little greedier or a little bit more, than some.
No, I mean, they've been great. I ended up getting to really know them and Matt and the leadership there would come out a lot and really enjoyed FDs.
Well, they want you to be successful because
They did.
you are an anchor to that mall.
Yeah, and they were, but even from day one before we opened, they were very thoughtful and caring. They did a lot of great stuff. I'll be honest, every one of the landlords I have and are just outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, at some point you got to develop some kind of, power, as an anchor tenant like in Cumberland, because, I don't think there's any other place to eat in there that rivals FD's in that mall. And I'm not asking you to comment on that, but I think the owners of that would probably not want to see you move that location. Am I right?
And we're not. Hey, we signed another 10 years. And so,
man, I was trying to help you with the contract negotiations on the show.
I know. I'd already signed it. We should have done this a little bit beforehand.
Like, hey, we're thinking about moving out to so-and-so. Well, the West Loop is getting hot, Scott.
You know what we'll do? In eight more years when this, we go to lease negotiations, we're going to have to sit down again and go over it.
Because there's the Mosaic District that's kind of filled up, but the West Loop, there's a Stanley's coming.
Yeah.
And then they've been adding all those other things. I don't know if there's room over there or even that's a thought of yours as far as your future.
I love Tyler, Texas. Big supporters and great folks. I'm very involved in the community. I think most of my concepts won't reproduce the exact same concept here in town. Do I think there's some opportunities for some new fun things? Yeah, absolutely. It's always sitting in the back of my head. And if the right opportunity comes along, we'll go right after it and offer Tyler something a little different, a little more fun.
I mean, I could see you in like a really good pizza. I don't know if Villagio is really that anymore, but I know the pizza people are lost. Pizza's trying to get open in Burkeville.
Right? Yeah, they're coming exciting.
It seems like they're contractors or something. They're slow as can be building that thing out over there. I mean,
yeah, I haven't followed it too much. I'm excited for him to come out there, and that's where we want great options and restaurants like that. The more that we come out, it's not so much a competitor. It's about, we're building a community and more options for our guests to go out. I mean, we're taking care of, again, close to 19,000 guests a week, and we want them to continue to go out, not just to our restaurants, but to all the locally owned restaurants.
Well, there's got to be some camaraderie between independent restaurant owners versus chains, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyler, because Tyler has, they have some, I mean, Stanley's, Manny's, Prime 102.
Yeah, Steve. And
Culture down there.
Lance. Yeah.
I mean, there's a kind of a growing group, it seems, and you're obviously the biggest contributor to that, I would think.
Well, I mean, no, they're all great folks. What we are trying on the Texas Restaurant Association is to continue to grow that and offer support. And, I'll tell you this, and not many folks know this, but restaurants is highly regulated. And there's a lot of rules, a lot of pieces behind it, not just on the health side, but all kind, workforce and a lot of different moving pieces. And one thing that, as my role on the Restaurant Association has allowed me to help do is help a lot of restaurateurs or about to become restaurateurs to really understand, just so they're in compliance.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of reminds me about the Chamber of Commerce in a way. What they do is they put resources to businesses to try and help them be successful, right? Which is kind of what you're saying that the Restaurant Association does in the restaurant area because of regulations and things that could trip them up.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. And just to keep them ahead of the curve, and for the knowledge and to share best practices. There's again, the restaurant world has so many things that rotates and comes at you. I brought up cod earlier, but it could be a to-go box, right? That, a couple years after COVID, you couldn't buy a to-go box and everything was for to-go. And so you had to find different ways to source it. And when you can bring that camaraderie and, we loan other restaurants, Cokes or, case of Dr. Peppers, whatever it may be. It is a special kind of camaraderie where I will tell you this about restaurateurs, and something that I'm a big fan and I love. Restaurateurs will give the shirt off their back to folks. They will, for schools, they will help you out on most. Right. We support a bunch of schools. We love helping kids. We love helping teachers. We love helping nonprofits. And whether it's through donation or just maybe cover the cost of food or however, or we give back. And most restaurateurs are like that. They really truly care about the community doing, well, and everybody being healthy and well.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the community supports them, or at least some, right? And
Yeah.
so it's kind of it could be a very positive cycle, for
Yeah.
them to support you, you to support the community all at the same time. And it sounds like that's important to you.
Absolutely.
The 12 restaurant modeled kind of after many aspects of what your wife liked or what she desired. But it also brought kind of for the first time, really a bourbon aspect to the liquor, the cocktail service, right? I mean,
Yes.
there was more emphasis, there was more bourbons, the old fashioned, the presentation with the smoke and all of
Yeah.
that that was your first move into that, wasn't it?
Absolutely. We thought it was an opportunity. We wanted to. In fact, we have bourbon dinners once a month, and bourbon sommeliers come out, and we've had.
How do people know about that? Like, for instance,
Yeah.
I don't know about it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how would I, if I'm listening and I'm an audience member and I'd like to know when those bourbon dinners come about, how would they find out?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to our website. Our next one's on May 19th. Open Table or a website and just click on there. But we do it every month, and it's great. We bring in, Garrison has come out, and
From High, Texas.
yeah. And so, but we've had different folks, and it's a great experience. We walk through it. We pair some different unique foods to it that really pair well with it. And we have a great time. When you have over 150, selection of bourbon and whiskeys, you pick a couple of fun ones just to go out there and have a good time. And you bring those distributors out, and they love coming out and talking, of course, talking about their product, and we love having them. And our guests learn. I mean, you get to learn, okay, well, what was that barrel and why? And why is it so important that barrel was moved in, further in, or all of those little neat pieces?
The only barrel bourbon I ever remember for you would be over at Javi's in the margarita. Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's kind of the only bourbon I ever remember at your places was this barrel bourbon margarita, which is pretty good. And then you moved all those, I guess, bourbons in the creation of 12.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people really enjoyed that, and that was the start of it. That's kind of how it came around. We talked a lot about that, and so I was like, I've got a restaurant now. We're really at it. I think we'll be at 110 tequilas at. In fact, we're doing a tequila room right on the second story of Javi's as well. It's going to be pretty neat with some really high end tequilas, really special ones. But yeah, we just wanted to bring something special, something you can't get at a lot of places because we buy so much alcohol. We get those allotments. We can get the Pappies. We can get the King of Kentucky. We can get those things that folks, the birthday bourbon, that want to try and just experience something special.
Well, I mean, that was just a stab on my part about the bourbon and the margarita, but it actually did. I mean, you thought that? I mean,
more so from FD. Yeah, more so from FDs would bring it up. But yeah, all of it, it showed me because that was one of my top selling margaritas. And you're like, wow, really?
Right. People must like that bourbon that's with that.
Absolutely. And so so when we were creating 12, we were like, let's lean in a little bit on some great bourbons and whiskeys. And of course, if you haven't had a smoked old fashioned at 12, you haven't had one yet. We do a really good job of that. And then we even took it up another level at Three Palms, and we learned from a chemist out of who owns a restaurant out of California called Cut, and on how to Wagyu wash an old fashioned. So we have a very neat Wagyu washed old fashioned at Three Palms.
Wow. Because you've moved the margaritas, from, you probably had some at San Pedro's at the very end. I don't know that.
Yes, sir, we did.
Frozen.
Yep.
You had a big, and you probably used your influence with Mikasina when you started at FD's with the naming of the margaritas, right? Because they call them a limousine or something in Mikasina, don't they?
Yeah, again, well, I didn't have direct, with Mikosina, direct contact with them, but just the gentleman who started it was a friend of mine. And so, of course, I think community impacts on what you do and how you do it. And I think, so absolutely, I think.
Because, I mean, they're called, the same margaritas are called something at FD's and something different at Javi's.
Yeah.
But it's the same margarita, right?
Yeah,
I mean, pretty much.
very close,
Okay.
slightly
But
different.
I know you get an elevation when we get to Three Palms, and we're going to get there with the skinny margarita, maybe a little cleaner, purer type of mix. That's kind of the feel I've gotten. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know.
Just a little different. I mean, I think, I like to think of a margarita as the perfect health drink. You got tequila, good for you. You got, your vegetable, your fruits. And people could probably argue with me on that, but I think a margarita is the perfect beverage.
12 gets going, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming 12 is doing pretty well.
Yeah.
We know you've, again, had to expand into the patio and air condition it to add seats to your place, right?
Yep.
And then the next venture is Three Palms, which people should know in Old Jacksonville. It's an upscale restaurant, if you will. Did this come about again because of the location that was available, or it was a concept that was born in your mind that you then found a place to go?
It was the concept was in my mind. I love celebrating with my family. Of course, we'd go out to nice restaurants. We have plenty of nice restaurants here, but I wanted a restaurant that truly did a little bit more on the celebration, whether it was flowers on the table for grandma's 80th birthday, or a lit up menu with your name celebrating graduation. And so Three Palms was this idea of not the traditional dark woods, but more of a celebratory, great food. We're going to celebrate you. You're going to have a great time. And it's all about you. And that's kind of was the idea. Now, when I saw that original location, it was yellow and purple.
And red, or maybe.
Oh, yeah, red. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it was Fuzzies,
yeah.
if everybody knows, that sat back behind Juicy's.
Yes.
And I don't know what happened to it, but eventually it was not good and went out of business or quit or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they, it was already closed down at that time, so I don't know what led them to leave or where they moved to.
Well, when a Fuzzies closes, obviously things aren't going well.
So, well, I mean,
right? I mean,
or, for me, I always hoped that they're relocating. So,
yeah. Well, no, they had one over there.
That's true. They had the other one.
And there were two separate owners.
Oh, they were separate owners. Okay. So we saw that, and I was like, oh, this is not really matching my vision.
This is going to have to be a remodel.
Yeah. Which we believe in doing great remodels. And so I get my wife out there, and she says, this is great. And I was like, you seeing it? And she's like, oh, I see it. And then we get Angie Reed out there, and Angie Reed's very talented, as you could tell from the change in that. And
yeah, I mean, for people who look up here and remember Fuzzies, this is what the vision of Scott and his wife and Angie Reed were able to cobble together with an end product that's, a very impressive structure itself.
Yeah, it had some of the critical things. We had to have an open kitchen. We just thought that we wanted to be interactive in that aspect. The bar ended up, we
separated by a wall, essentially kind of a noise buffer for people who don't appreciate the loud, boisterous crowd in the bar.
Well, and we also had room for our piano player. We have our piano player going, and which is always fun. I did get on there one time. That was not so great. But besides that, it was just it was a great spot.
You also, kind of did what you seem to always do, is you kind of get your feel for how it's going, and then you make moves like out to the patio, based on what you think the clientele is going to like. Am I close?
Yeah. With any new concept, I'm paying attention, right?
Because this is not a chain. This is not something that Scott Williams has a playbook for that says, hey, do this, do this, do this.
Correct. No, we listen to our guests. We watch what they're doing, what they're ordering, how they're feeling, where they want to go. And then we just do our best to create the best atmosphere for them. So we did that cover patio, and so we'll do some great music out there. And we've had several events from, oh, wow, we've had,
But you built an event center first, kind of covered, right? And then now you have covered the outside, have you not?
Yeah. So, I knew going into it, I had to have, which we didn't have the space for to do it originally, I had to have a private dining room, right? So people are celebrating. Some folks want to have a larger group, and they want to celebrate privately as a group, as a family, or organization. And so so we built that out there, and then we found that, we need way more space and way more in a way to include both,
To go outside and back inside, or come from
yes,
outside
and
the
so
restaurant to there.
or to have, 120 people versus the 50 or 60 that fit in that space. And so that's where that piece, Angie Reed came back out, and we made that happen.
I mean, was this an attempt to handle the heat, because that's always a tough part of the year for outdoor dining, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, Texas, I mean, we get the, 105-degree weather sometimes, but it was really designed to, play on and help with that little private dining room to expand. But yes, also the other piece of it too is folks love to be outside. I mean, who doesn't, right? I mean, it's beautiful. We got, an area to look at. We've got, some palm trees out there. And so we wanted to cover it to help with the heat, add a little bit of shade for sure.
I mean, I don't know if, in Dallas, sometimes misters and stuff like that are the things. Some people are like, there's that whole water bacteria thing versus maintenance. And, I don't know how you feel about that, or if that even would work here.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're always looking at what's the next piece. What's the something that can make our guests more comfortable. We're willing to look at, and whether it's from the table, from a specialty fan, HVAC, mini splits, whatever it is, we always try to definitely take care of our guest.
All right. So you're a renter at all of these locations, including Three Palms. Is that right?
Yes, I rent it. Yeah, all the Tyler ones I rent.
Because I mean, what I'm trying to emphasize the point to our audience is that you either have confidence in yourself that you're going to be successful because you expend a lot of money in the build out that will eventually be someone else's property.
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, so.
I mean, after the lease, if you decided not
we hope to buy, locations. We've tried to buy these ones.
That's what I was getting at. I'm like, you're renting all of them. You've put a lot of money and thought and time into building these, because this right here is a far different piece of real estate than the Fuzzy's location.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will tell you this, we do very long-term leases too.
Right. So you can
20
get the
years
benefit.
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we definitely believe in it.
Most people are scared of a 20-year lease, not Scott Williams.
I'm leaning into it because I want that rate, and I know what will happen.
If it's 5 years and it comes back up.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we lock in all those rates, and then, as we grow and we're going outside, we're doing more of the purchasing of the property, but, But we definitely, you're right. We spend a lot of money on the build out, a significant amount, and
which is the experience that the people are getting, and they're paying for. Sometimes they don't think of this in the prices on the menu, right? Part of that's built in is the experience that you're going to have because of the environment.
Well, one way that we can kind of offset that is that we don't advertise. So you don't get a flyer.
I've never
or
seen
discount.
anything for any of yours.
Yeah,
ever. Have you?
I mean, I think some people will do some free things for us, or because we partnered or did something for a nonprofit. But yeah, we don't actually advertise, and so the benefit of that is the advertising is expensive, and you're either all in and you do quite a bit of it, I'm sure, as you know, or you don't. And so for us, we just decided we're going to put it on the plate of food. We're going to save that money. We're going to put it in the building. It's a one-time cost though, so it's not a big deal there. But every day we're going to make sure you're getting the best product quality we can get for you.
Plus, if you do a good job, word of mouth is going to be better than advertising anyway.
That's what I believe.
I mean, you must, because that's pretty bold to go, hey, I'm going out with all these restaurants and I'm not going to advertise they're even open.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, when we opened FDs and we didn't advertise, right? Nobody knew we were open.
But it didn't take long.
It took 7 days.
And if you have something visually interesting, like Three Palms on the outside, people are curious in Tyler, like what's new, wonder how that is, right?
Yeah.
And then they have to come in and learn the menu because, like you said, they don't know if there's a steak in there or a seafood or what's in here.
Right.
And
or amazing short rib with the cherry glaze on it. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the fun too, I hope, for some guests going out to eat, that they get to try something and see something new.
Well, my wife and I are very close. in the business as well as in real life. And she is an integral part of everything that I've done. And so I get this same feeling that you have that same support based on some of your comments and based on the projects you continually take on. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. My wife is not just my best friend. She's my business partner. She's my everything. She's a great mother. And so I'm very, very lucky to have Maddie. Not only did she bring the kids up every day or when it's a holiday weekend but she's also dropping off things and supporting, helping out, with different donations or when she sees a need in the community, she's making it happen from our restaurants.
Right. And my wife does that as well. And what that does is that allows, people to help you do things for the community or otherwise that you're for and want to do, but oftentimes might not have enough time,
Mm-hmm.
but it gets done when there's kind of a shared agenda in the family, right?
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it too. And, when we're working, 60, 70 hours a week, plus being with the kids, going to all the events, and we want to give as much as possible to the community. But yeah, she's the best partner to make sure that we're providing that support, even if I can't be there physically.
But, each time you decide to go into a restaurant, there's an investment of you guys' money, your resources, right? So,
Yes.
I mean, she has to be supportive to say, Scott, okay, let's do another one. Okay, Scott, let's do another one, right? I mean,
I told them they don't cost us any money. No, she does. But she believes in the vision and where we're going, but I do involve her. She sees our locations, and as we look at them, the different locations, and it's a big investment. It's an investment for not just my family, but also our investors, and our investors are. They've been with me for multiple restaurants, and so we love to take care of them, and so I'm very thoughtful that it's my future for my kids, and so you're right. We go into it, we do our due diligence, and then we go into it with everything we got to make sure it's great for our guests.
Well, you mentioned investors, and people don't think like that, but there are people that are willing to invest, right, to help defray the cost, take some of the profits, but then eventually be out of it or in it forever on that project.
Yeah, for the way we do it is that they're in it forever. They're a partner, and they're getting that. We take care of them, and we've been very blessed. They get a quick return in the industry, and are much quicker than the typical for the industry. And then they go and they support the next one, and all of a sudden, now they're in 5 locations, and now 6, and then 7, and so. But yeah, it's because it's a big investment. Again, we put the money in the front. We make sure these folks in these restaurants are big and beautiful. We don't take TI. We go in and we do it ourselves to get the best possible, lowest rent, as we were talking about earlier, so that, again, we could put it all on the plate.
And it sounds like you've got a great model. The next restaurant was a guest of ours, Harley. We talked about Harley finally was able to sell it. He was happy to sell it, and he told us he had sold it to you, Villagio, which is again a good location, right?
Yeah, that's a great location.
So, was it simply that Harley wanted to get rid of it? It was a great location, or had you really had any interest in this, or do people come to you all the time because they know Scott could be a candidate for this restaurant here, there, anywhere?
Yeah, yes, I get offers every week in different locations
To buy somebody else's.
Yes,
Because I call you the restaurant whisperer, right? That is a broken horse.
Yeah.
Right? Who do you call? Someone who can tame that horse, somebody who can take something that's not making money, whether it be San Pedro's at the inception or Villagio at this moment in time. You have this knack, it seems, don't you, to make these things make money?
Well, for me, I think if you go back to just the core root of it, how do you feel when you go in? How do you do you enjoy the food, the drinks? Do you enjoy the space? Do you enjoy the people? Are they happy? Are you feeling comfortable and great? And then, we're about to actually roll out a pretty big menu change of Villagio here in just a couple of weeks, but that we've been working on since I bought it. But what I loved about Villagio, my wife had been there multiple times. I've been there multiple times. My wife more so and more often.
It's already built out.
It's already built out. It's but it goes. It's it's a good build out. It's
It is.
beautiful. It looks great. It's a smaller side. It's my smallest location. Um, it's got a beautiful wood burning pizza oven. I mean, they have a lot of great pieces. Patio, excellent. You notice I did the same thing to the back. Right? I had to cover in the back patio and get that tempered so that we can seat more people, because we're doing more guests now than it's ever done that I'm aware of. And that, but Harley had a great thing, and I love to honor Harley in that. And when, you know, he built it as a gathering place and great wine. And so we continue to bring in the great wine. We want the gathering. We want the folks to, of course, Harley and they all come in and have a good time. But that's kind of
They can walk across the parking
yeah,
lot.
that's right. Yeah, it's great for them right there.
But I mean, they're so happy because they've sold the entire shopping center, strip center,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, and
Yeah.
the restaurant to you.
Yeah.
But Harley would probably admit this too. He'd probably say that you're probably the best guy to buy this thing because you will probably know how to improve it and make it a better experience for people that live in Tyler and the surrounding area.
I really enjoy Harley's got a great story too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
if you watched his show, I don't know if you did.
I missed his, but I'm going to catch up.
No, I mean, I did a podcast on him.
Catch up on it.
He does have a great story, and you should watch it and become a subscriber of the show.
Oh, I am a subscriber,
Okay,
so
folks.
I just missed that one.
Now's the time of
Yep.
subscribe to the East Texas Unfiltered podcast and share. But okay, so I don't know if it's appropriate to ask you about the new menu or whether that's a surprise, but if you want to share anything new that might be exciting for people who like food experiences, then feel free to tell us what we have coming.
Yeah, it's still traditional. We have a spicy rigatoni, a chicken Florentine that's coming in. We have a new appetizer that's a artichoke and spinach with a pasta chip. So really just kind of keeping to the traditional roots, the traditional Italian, but really just packing it with flavor.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're leaning into Italian food a little bit more. Is that what that menu I just heard sounds like?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's
are you going to have pizzas of any kind?
Yeah, I'll keep all the pizzas. I mean, the pizzas I think are fantastic. The Godfather, we eat the pizzas all the time for sure.
I don't care if you change them. I'm not suggesting
no,
that. I'm making a push for extremely thin flatbread pizzas, which in Dallas are all the thing, right? Because people don't want carbs so much. Yeah. So they have these gluten-free, really thin, mostly stuff. So I'm just putting putting in my pitch since I've got you.
We are working on one of those.
Okay, okay, good.
We're going to have one of those on the menu as well, because I agree. I think, and we already have the pizza oven. We have the dough. We can make it a little different, but it's not a big deal.
Make more money because the crust is thinner?
Maybe. I'm not sure that's exactly.
But I like it better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I agree.
I'm pitching for me and all the carb haters.
I'm here for you. I'm going to make it happen for you.
All right. Well, I didn't give the shout out to Angie Reed that I wanted to, okay? Because the 3 Palm building, as we move forward, was so impressive for a kind of a new remodel, right? And from what it was to where it went to, pretty much speaks to her talent, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, she's building our home too, and she's extremely talented.
She remodeled mine. Full disclosure, she's going to come on the show. She's already promised me. But for people who listen to this, who are not from here, who just moved here and, don't know who's who, as far as, concept ideas with what you have to work with, which is what you and I both did, my house, your fuzzies, to make them turn out the way they did, is just, no matter how painful the price, I still love it.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right?
I had to say that too.
Yeah. So when you're building and, her vision is so strong. Her ability to bring things together, whether it's beautiful wallpaper, the right door, a doorknob, the wall.
No plans.
Yeah.
I had no plans. We had no plans to work from. And she, you and I's connection at 3 Palms will forever be, hey, Chad, do you want that painting on the wall at your house when we were tearing everything up? I was like, nah, I don't care. She goes, can I have it? I said, sure, take it. And then sure enough, she goes, she put this at Three Palms on
Yeah.
the wall by the bathroom.
That's right. Yeah, which I love. Yeah, absolutely. She's like, "Hey, I got this one. It's going to be great there." And I'm like, and it did. It worked out great. So she's great. She's got great vision. We have a lot of great builders here in town that I'm friends with and that I frequent or they frequent the restaurants. But Angie Reed was just perfect for me, just in the scope and the ability to tie it all together. Because again, Fuzzy's was a big transition. And so
a big one.
And she's also doing our new location, 12 in Longview. And that's another big transition.
Yeah, that's, you've kind of got to the point where you seem comfortable with the way the restaurants are operating in Tyler, right? There's, what is there, 5 of them?
5, yes, sir.
And, I've heard that you're about to open a Javi's concept in College Station.
College Station, right on University Drive.
Man, that's going to be a hit, isn't it? A college town.
We're excited.
You're going to blow them up. It's going to be like any other, Tex-Mex margarita spot that's always cool in any college town. Is this going to be it?
Hey, we hope. Yeah, I think it's a great concept. I think it's going to do well with families, with the college students, with the professors, with the workers. We tend to do well with frequency and with a volume and variety of guests. And when they come in, we want them transported and thinking they're somewhere else. They're not in College Station. They're not in Tyler, Texas. We're going to take care of them. We're going to be giving them some great food, but also where they just can relax and feel stress-free for a little while.
Were you able to buy the property or are you still renting?
So that one I tried I tried to buy it, but it was such a perfect property. This one,
again, location, right?
Yes. In Javi's a little different because we have this, like there's a water ravine and, and then one here is on a pond. And so there's very specific needs for that concept. And so, but we definitely had it there, but they would not sell it to me yet. Maybe one day.
Well, now this may be your shot. Longview and 12, the 12 concept. Maybe you can buy the property.
I did buy that one. Yes.
Okay, good. I mean, I'm cheering for you, man.
I appreciate it.
I'm tired of you paying everybody else as well as you're doing. You need to own your own real estate.
Absolutely. As we continue to grow, I mean, we'd love to buy some, but I'm okay with renting. I think.
Well, you've figured it out.
Yeah. Again, as long as we put out a great location where people can enjoy it and our team can do well, our team can grow, our team has an opportunity to move to the next level of leadership or whatever it may be. That's kind of one of my big drivers.
If I had to get into Scott Williams' mind, which
it's scary.
I know it, but I mean, I've followed your career and I've seen you and talked to you and I've, been enthusiastically interested because I just love seeing people make the kind of moves you've made. If I had to guess 12, you were going for the lack of really of kind of a little upscale bourbon, nice place over there in Longview because there's a lot of Tex-Mex.
Well,
versus taking Javi's over there.
So I think Javi's makes a lot of sense over there too.
Yeah, I think it does too. I'm just trying to figure out what the calculus was for you to go 12, not Javi's.
The property. Okay. So again, the Javi's property is going to have the ability to that patio, because I do that big patio at every Javi's.
Okay. So that is a signature, architectural theme that goes with the restaurant, the menu and everything. You're making that stay with it.
Yes.
All right.
And whether that's
like a koi pond at a sushi place.
Exactly right. Except for us, it's going to be a beautiful patio that makes you feel like you're not in the middle of town.
Yeah. I mean, that escape, is what many people, gain through the things that you're building, right?
Oh yeah. I go out and talk to people all the time on the patio or even inside, and they're just like, they could have had this stressful day. I mean, unfortunately, we had a funeral a few days ago, and they could actually feel good to celebrate the life and feel, just a little bit like a load taken off for a little while.
So 12 is the location is bought and it's being remodeled, and there's a plan for it to open in Longview.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Have you set that date or announced when that would be?
No, I don't. As you know from construction.
Sure, yeah. I'm not going to press you because anything could happen, and there's no reason for you to announce anything because you don't advertise anyway.
Right. Yeah. So that's true. But what I tell everybody, it's going to be once we're done with it, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. We'll let the community know, and then we'll be there for them.
Do you also have plans in your mind or already in process for a Javi's over in Longview?
I don't have one. I would love to have one there. If we find the right location, I'm sure we'll have one there.
Okay. And I didn't know if that was, you try to move the models that you've built in Tyler to move all of those to Longview eventually. I don't know if that's a part of your business plan.
I think synergy, yes. I think synergetic, we want to have where there's multiple locations in a new market.
Similar size cities in a way. I mean, not exactly, but I mean, maybe a different business demographic in some ways than others, but kind of the same, where you would think those all might be successful in Longview as well.
Absolutely. And it's close enough. I can be out there. I can be in College Station. I can be home that night, sleep in my bed. So,
any other ongoing future expansion right now that's kind of in process that you'd want to tell us about?
Nothing yet. We're working on some things, but nothing yet. So,
and, you can't blame me for, trying to scoop the story.
Absolutely.
Right?
Not at all.
Because, I just think you're so interesting, Scott, and I love how hard you work. But what you have in common with everybody that comes on this show that's successful is they actually care about the people that make them the living. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not just in it. They're perfectionists. They want to do things right. Yeah. And it seems to translate to success, right? That concept.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's definitely some, I'll tell this to anybody. I started off with nothing. Even when I went into FDs, I did not have enough money, even from everything. I drained everything out of my IRAs, everything I could. It was not enough to build it. And I had people who believed in me, and who invested, and who continue to invest and do really well. But
is that a call for investors?
No, I'm just saying.
But, I mean, Scott, can I get a stake in Javi's in College Station?
We're already booked. But what I'm saying about it is that I had nothing, and I think the American dream is so alive here that you can have nothing and work hard and make something out of it. You can find a way. Yes. Multiple doors shut in my way. That was not my first location. San Pedro's was not my first idea. But every door opened, you had to run through it. I mean, you had to work hard once you got in that door. But you had all of these opportunities, and you will have all these opportunities whether you're 18 years old or 55 years old or whenever you want to do it. And that's the beautiful thing about America.
Well, let's go back and confirm what you just said. San Pedro, you opened that in what year?
I bought that in 2012.
2012. And did you have a college education? I mean, a degree?
No degree.
Okay. So for the people that are listening and the American dream that you just championed, you just told them that a guy got a restaurant in 2012 without a college degree that just worked hard. Yeah. And now he has 7 restaurants?
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
I mean, we're talking 14 years later?
Yeah. I mean,
that's one restaurant every 2 years. Which, is amazing in and of itself. But you know who benefits from all that? The city of Tyler and the city of Longview and College Station, right?
Well, yeah, everybody gets it. Hopefully, we'll get to benefit and enjoy it.
Well, if you think about the restaurant scene and the experiences and the places that we here in Tyler, just Tyler, have to go out and eat, I mean, what would Tyler be like without Scott Williams is the question I have.
Oh, I think great. But I'm glad to be here. Hey, I'm glad to be a great part of it. I'm friends with so many of the restaurateurs here, and I champion all of them. There's so many great places to go in Tyler. And believe it or not, Tyler is very high in restaurant per capita.
Right. I mean, there's a ton of restaurants. That's what you mean.
Yes, that's exactly right. And so which is great. That means Tyler's going out and supporting, and they're finding what works perfect for them. And it's a great thing to see.
Well, Scott, I've known you from before, but I've gotten to know you a lot better in this interview. And I think all this success could not happen to a better person, and a person who not only builds these quality restaurants, but just improves everybody's life, which, should be part of what we think about each day we live. And I appreciate you being here on the show. Thank you, Scott.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.